Here we go. And we are on and we are live. That's it. We're there. And all of a sudden, people are going to start piling in. You know, Ian Glenn, Royal Mint, 288, I have got one message for you. One hell of a message for you. The beginning of this video is directed at you. So, you are in no doubt about what my intentions are and what I'm going to do. Subliminal. Good morning to everybody. I was just chirping there and basically addressing Ian Glenn and 288 group. I want their attention and I'm going to get their attention on this one. Absolutely, most definitely. A top of the morning to everybody. I hope you are all safe out there. And hang on, let's just make myself look pretty. So we're all, that's it. Got all pretty, sexy for the ladies. All you girls. I hope everybody's doing all right out there. So, Ian Glenn, 288, Royal Mint. I am coming for you now. Now I'm coming for you. Now the coast is clear. Now a load of obstacles are out of my way. And I can focus on you. 100%. I am going to focus on you. I am going to devote every waking hour as I promised you. I said to you, if I go under, I will spend whatever I've got left, the rest of my life, whatever it takes, I will spend that coming after you. I'm now gone under. Poof. We have no business. Great British coin hunt in the gutter. Whoopie-doos for 288 group and the Royal Mint. No more hassle from us, you think. Finally, they've gone pop. Finally, we will hear no more from this idiot. And finally, it will all die down and he will just die off and go away. That's not going to happen. This is Ian you're dealing with. And that is not going to happen. I promised. I gave you my word. I looked you in the eye and I told you, you send me to the cleaners in any way, shape or form, you're responsible for that. And up to the coronavirus, you are. I'm coming after you. And now the elastic band has just gone pop. Poppity-doo-dahs, all finished. Ping. Ian Lambert, finished. TGBCH, finished. Everybody loses their money, finished. Every single investor loses every single penny they've ever put in. Every single advance order that anybody's put in, gone, poof, finished. I become, for a while, the most hated man in England other than the virus. If it wasn't for the virus, I immediately become the most hated person in England. Because I am going to have so many emails calling me a crook and one thing and another, which is great for you because it means that all my attention has to be dealt with over there with all of this mess that I've now got myself into. And therefore, you're thinking, quite rightly so, you're thinking Ian's going to be so busy dealing with the earthquake. He's going to be so busy dealing with the fact that his business has gone bust. Ha ha ha. We ain't got to worry about him no more. Hello Judith, my darling, and everybody else that's come in while I've been chirping away. Popcorn, Chris. So you're going to be thinking, it's all right now. And to a degree, you would be absolutely right. But we've got the coronavirus. And I've seen this coming. I've been talking about this for 2 months. I take notice and pay attention to what's going on in other parts of the world. So I knew this was coming, and I've been thinking about this coming, and I've been preparing myself for this coming for the last couple of months while I've been talking about it to everybody, because I know, I could see, like any logical person, that half, or if not the entire world, is going to go on lockdown. I could see that months ago. You know, it doesn't take a genius to work this kind of stuff out, because, you know, the first reported case was on the 17th of November. That is a long time ago. Chinese government did a lot to suppress it. You know, the whistleblower, the first whistleblower, they absolutely vilified that guy. I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who was the original whistleblower in China, they absolutely mullered that guy. And he died catching the virus, and he died spat on, as it were, by his government, because he dared to do that, and the local officials and all the rest of it. Since then, the local officials have been reprimanded, and the bloke is now a national hero. But, you know, anyway, I digress, as usual. So I watch and I listen to all of this stuff. I've seen all of this coming. And part of me's been preparing for this. And I've been preparing to a degree for you sending me to the cleaners. I just now have an amazing opportunity at my fingertips. You see, on the one hand, excuse me, sounds like I'm on coke. On the one hand, beat, finished. Right, that means nobody's going to get anything, and my legal duty and course of action now is to fill the paperwork in, and for me and John to take us through the courts, through the voluntary bankruptcy, and go down that road. Now, I've been thinking about this, and here's the thing: the courts. Well, the courts, they're all closing down. One by one, they're all closing down. I'll come back to any questions and stuff in a bit. So the courts are all closing down. So if I go and fill the paperwork in, well, there's not going to be a court to handle my bankruptcy, is there? And I know this. So on the one hand, this is what I'm going to do. Now, pardon me, at some point in the future, I might get done for this if the choice that I am now going to make is in any way illegal. Then I will look forward to getting done for it. But I'm going to do it anyway, because I don't actually know, and I'm going by my best guess what the overall consensus of the government might be, or a judge might be, when the time comes. So, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? Well, like I say, I don't know whether or not this will be legal or not legal. Don't know. However, because of the climate being what it is, I don't think anybody will mind. That's the thing. I don't think any officials will mind. I don't think if Boris saw this video, he would mind what I'm going to do. And I don't think if HMRC saw this video, or the bankruptcy official saw this video, which he will do, because I'm going to show him when we eventually do the paperwork on one thing and another. And I'll say, there you go, I'll put it out there, and I told everybody what I was going to do. So I am prepared. What I'm trying to tell you here, Ian, and McDade, and Inson, and Macintosh, what I'm trying to tell you here is that I am prepared, as I told you right at the beginning, to go the full distance. And I am going to go the full distance, no matter what. Even if this brings me a prison term, I will go the full distance. So it's important you know that. And it's important you know that I am not going to stop. I will not stop. It's important you know that. Right? Okay. So how are we going to do this? Right. I'm going to take every single bit of stock that I've got, and I'm going to make up £1,000 parcels with the stock that I've got. And there's going to be parcel after 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 parcel, all £1,000 parcels. And I am going to offer these £1,000 parcels, as I've started doing, and we have people on this already. I am going to give people these £1,000 parcels for assigning that person a post on Facebook. I will make a post, or I will choose an old post. And it might be the one where we talk about the cartel and the monopoly that's going on with Royal Mint and 288 and one thing and another. Could be that one, right? Well, it most definitely is going to be that one, along with other ones. And you might start getting following and falling in soon. So I'm going to take a post like that, and I'm going to pay somebody a £1,000 parcel for getting 1,000 shares on that post. Doesn't matter how long it takes them. They're under no obligation, the person I give the post to, they're under no stress, no dramas. Because people are working at home. People are stuck at home now. It's great. So people are stuck at home, they've got nothing to do, right? And I'm now going to offer them a £1,000 parcel to share a post. And that post will be a post that belittles and damages your reputation and the Royal Mint's reputation, Ian Glenn's reputation, 288 Group's reputation, the Royal Mint's reputation. I am going to pick posts that damage your reputation badly. And I'm going to give that post to that person, and no one's going to know who that person is, only me. There's only two people that's going to know who that person really is. And that's me and the person running the group. That's all it's going to know. We're going to know who those real people are. And that post that is seriously detrimental to your reputation, that post that you've not bothered about, when you have your little meetings and you go, ha ha ha, and you chuckle over your little cup of tea, he's only got 2,000 views on it, it doesn't matter. That 2,000 views, it doesn't matter. That's going to turn into 2 million. By the time this virus is finished, I promise you, I give you my word, here and now, half the country will know how dodgy 288 Group and the Royal Mint are. Everything I've got, everything, every ounce of creativity, every thought process that I have, every organisational capability that I might have within me, everything that I've got, every coin here, every coin I have in the warehouse, every coin I have here, every coin I have in my garden and my shed, and the hundreds of thousands of coins I've got, every single one, every stamp, every first day cover, every item that I have, every antique, every vintage item, it doesn't matter what I own. It doesn't matter. Everything. I will put parcel after parcel after parcel after parcel after parcel together. I have at least at retail value a minimum of £500,000 worth of stock sitting around me. Right here, right now, if somebody came along and bought every single item that I have got at the retail price, it would be around £500,000. Now I go and put that with the official receiver. The official receiver goes and chucks it all in auction. All he does is he empties it all out and puts it all in a box. He might not even put it in auction, he might just cash in what he can at face value. And that's it. So, what that means is, we take a box like this, I've got loads of these, remember? Remember, Ian, I bought 3,000 of these off you. So what it means is that the government, I go bust and hand everything over. The government's just going to take one of these and they're just going to rip it open, probably. I doubt they'll even bother selling it, and they'll cash it in for the face value because they'll get more, you know, because they're not going to get anything at auction, is what I'm trying to say. So my £500,000 worth of stock, now I've gone bust, is worth nothing. So if it all goes to an auction, there might be a few grand come out of it, and you know, a few grand goes off to paying an insolvency practitioner. It might go off to paying the electric bill or whatever, but it's not going to come anywhere close to paying anybody back. Do you know what I mean? And that's a shame, isn't it? £500,000 worth of stock as a minimum, and if you threw all the lot back in, if you cashed the lot back in, not a lot of money, because its value is to a collector. So the penny that I sell for £2, that's only worth £2 to a collector. Otherwise, to the official receiver, it's just worth a penny. Now, I'm not going to get very far once this lot goes to an official receiver. So there lies a problem, see, there lies a dichotomy. Once it goes to the official receiver, we're beat. Everybody is beat. And at that point, that's the point where you rub your hands and you go, we won. But it's only at that point, you see. So we have to get to that point. Now, what I can promise you is, I'll give you my absolute word on, is that not one of these coins is going to go anywhere near the official receiver. The official receiver, an insolvency practitioner, excuse me, or a court, or an auctioneer, or a bailiff, none of those people are going to come within 100 feet of any of my coins. I've got £500,000 worth of stuff here that I can't sell, and it's just going to sit here waiting for those people to turn up and just take it away. And it's going to be sitting here for months. Months and months and months and months. And I'm just going to wait like a lemon just for them to come in and take it away. Nah. They ain't going to get within 100 feet of this stuff. They ain't going to get 100 feet of the 100,000 pennies I've got down there. And 2p's and 10p's and all the 50p's, all this stock we've got around here. All the stock you see in the car. Yeah, within 100 feet of that. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into parcels. There's only one thing I'm going to buy. And that one thing is, I'm going to buy a load of these. That's the only thing I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy a load of these, and I'm going to put my coin sheets together. A lot of people know about my coin sheets, so I'm putting them together. So you've got 30 coins in a sheet. When you go putting 30 coins in a sheet, and a lot of those coins I sell at £1.95, £2.95, then each sheet becomes worth 50 to 100 quid. Retail value, of course. Pardon me. So I'm going to put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these sheets together with the thousands and thousands and thousands of coins that I've got. And I'm going to use every single coin. I won't be selling any coins because I can't sell any coins. I can't sell them because I can't transact the business. I can't sell them because I can't wrap and pack, and I can't post, and I can't go to the post office. I can't do any of those things. So my business, sort of like yours, it stops. Boom, finished. Except we have couriers still working. Those couriers I've used a firm for 20 years. They come and they pick up at the house and they take it and they drop it off at the customer's house. So I don't need to go post office. I don't need to get involved in wrapping and packing or anything else. What I'm doing is I am changing my business overnight. I'm changing my business according to the marketplace and according to government directives and instructions and so on. So TGBCH is no longer going to be a individual coin selling business. You're no longer, for the foreseeable future, and when I say the foreseeable future, I'm talking about at least the next 6 months. Do not think that this will be finished within 6 months. I have got all the time in the world. For once, I am totally in the driving seat because I have everything at my disposal that I need. Now, on the one hand, there's a very good argument to say, but you can't use everything at your disposal. You're not allowed to. It's illegal. No, it ain't. And the reason I can say no, it ain't, is because the circumstances are exceptional. We have a pandemic. We have a virus, and I'm flipping using it. And I'm going to use it against you. This virus, almost, although it's killed me off, it's actually reborn me overnight. So my business ain't going to be about that for the foreseeable future. It may never, ever be about that again. Ever. And I'm prepared for that. My business is going to be about giving people £1,000 parcels to give 1,000 shares onto a post working from home, helping people work from home, get hold of some gear, do some collecting, have something to do, give them something to do in the day, whatever. I'm then going to take that idea and publicise the idea itself. So not only am I attracting people from my shows like this, we have 28 people watching, and you can see that, and you can see that there ain't many people that are probably going to jump on this, but we've already created a post that advertises it, and that post is getting loads and loads of shares and hundreds of views, and people are already signing up. So over the next couple of months, well, I imagine within the next 2 weeks we will have 50 people doing that. That's £50,000 worth of product that I'm putting up to smack your bum with. That's what I'm doing. As Judith says, what happens to all the advance orders? As I said at the beginning of this, we are poof. TGBCH is poof. There is nothing I can do about that. We are poof. Anybody that's owed money, they're owed money. So people like Judith, if you're waiting for a single coin, if you are waiting for an old queue, if you're waiting for an A to Z set, if you're waiting for a COA, if you're waiting for anything whatsoever, there is nothing I can do about that. Because until we can get back to the stage of being able to go back to the post office, I can't even say to somebody like Judith, okay Judith, how much do I owe you? Judith might say, well, you owe me 30 quid. And I go, right, Judith, or 50 quid or whatever. And I go, right, Judith, have 50 quid for something else. That's what I normally do, as you know, right? I can't do that now because I can't post anything off to Judith or anybody else. The only thing I can do, the only way I can do any kind of a posting is if I'm doing it by courier at the moment, because I can have it on the doorstep, step back, he take the parcel, blah, 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 you know the rest. And at the moment, they're delivering courier parcels. So that's the only way I would be able to do something. But even then, I have to be careful on that side of it, on the legalities. There's so far I can stretch the legalities. So what does this mean for the people that are owed money then? Okay. Well, the first 25 minutes, really, and the next couple of minutes, is just been about addressing 288 Group and Royal Mint, and then we'll get on to talking to the customers. So, to finish this off, I am coming for you, and I am putting everything I've got into that to come for you. Absolutely everything. And I am determined to do that before all of the courts reopen and I have to file for bankruptcy. So I've got a window of opportunity, and a lot of people think that that window of opportunity is there, when in fact I think I've got a window of opportunity here, because I think this is going to go on for longer and longer and longer and longer. Right, so it's important that you know that this is not going to stop, and it's going to go on and go on and go on and go on, and it will only ever stop when you finally get round the table and make reparations for the damage that you've caused. That's that. Right, so that's me for the first half an hour, first 25 minutes, addressing Ian Glenn and the Royal Mint, so they know they are in absolutely no misunderstandings of what I'm going to do and how we're going to do it. Now we talk to the customers. So we've got comments. I see, like, let's have a look at this. Why can't, as Ailey says, why can't a business just go on hold like many other companies that can't trade right now? Get the government help, see what the climate is after the virus blows over. Well, there are certain things that we're going to be able to do, Ailey, you're quite right, and I will continue doing them. So I don't feel too stressed about making this decision, and I'll tell you why. I think that this is going to get worse and worse and worse. Therefore, I also think that the government are going to come up with more and more rescue and different types of packages. Therefore, I think that there will be things coming forward that you and I don't even know about yet, that the government haven't even written down yet and agreed on yet, but there's going to be more and more packages coming forward, because within days they're going to be getting hassled as to, okay, you've done something for the PAYE, you've done something for the self-employed, now what about the people that ain't getting anything? What about the businesses that have just gone under? Because not every business can stand what's going on for 6 months or a year. So what do you do about the businesses that go under? This is not just going to be my business that goes under. You just watch, and you will be amazed in one way and not in another, because you are going to see so many businesses just collapse and collapse and collapse and collapse and collapse. It hasn't even started yet. You know, we've got horrifying things to come to yet. You know, if we follow Europe, then we're going to have dead bodies all over the place. At the moment, you've got the army going into old people's homes and finding nobody in there, just dead bodies. People that are supposed to be in those care homes looking after the elderly have all buggered off. Left them on their own. You know, China hasn't produced any statistics in 2 weeks. This is nothing. What we see at the moment, that's nothing. The loss of economy, nothing. This is going to cost more than £25 trillion. This is huge. It's going to cost our country alone between 2, 3 and 5 trillion pounds. Our country alone is going to cost. It's incredible the damage that this is going to do. So how many times do I say so? I think that there are going to be more and more packages to come into, and I think somewhere along the line, the investors and the people that I owe money to will be able to get paid, right? Or we'll be able to get paid something, or I will be able to do something with them. When we get, and if you haven't heard yet, Boris has got the virus. So I know that there is a debt. So what we're going to have to do is we're just going to have to call. So when I mention the word debt, we're going to have to, in our minds, we've got to think of people like Judith and investors and gas and whatever, because the law says debt is debt. It's all got to be treated the same. There's nothing I can do about that for the moment. Only for the moment. That's the last of your worries. Worrying about a few quid that I owe you, last of your worries. Don't panic over that. For the moment, I can't do anything about that. That actually does me a favour, because it takes a bit of stress off. I can't do anything about the debt. Therefore, I'm not going to worry about something I can't do anything about for the moment. There's No point. Don't worry about things you can't change. You know, worry about the things you can change. I can't change that. That's that situation, so I can't change it. So I'm not going to worry about that for the second. I know I've got that debt. Right, I'll deal with that later. And I will deal with that either by compensation packages or find a way of paying that off before this is all finished. So, where does the income come from? Well, from now on, there's not going to be any income from this. The income that comes in from now on will be things like that I can sell, like shares in the Royal Mint TV, shares in the royalmint.news, 10 times the Mint fund, because my intention is to get so much publicity. As I've said, each post I'm looking at getting 1 million or 2 million views. I want half the country by the end of this lockdown. I want half the country knowing about the issues that we've had with the Royal Mint and 288 group, and I want half the country knowing how bent they are, and this is the way to do it. Now, if I've got so many people looking at these videos, it can only mean one thing at the end of the day. If you get enough people, you will get people that will come forward and go, I'll put in for that, I'll put in for that. So if there's a way of me raising £100,000 for the fight in the mint kitty and to keep us solvent and one thing and another, then, or £200,000, whatever it might be, there is more chance of me raising that money through Facebook, through getting 1 million views on each post, than there is in anything else I can do. So I turn the coin that I have into £1,000 parcels. I then turn those parcels into 1,000 shares on a post, which turns that post into money for us for the kitty. Or Patreon, which now, if you go to our Patreon is set up specifically for that. Fighting the Royal Mint Fund, 10 times your money back. So if you go and sign up for £5 a month or $5 a month, then you will get $50 back for every $5 you give us for every month it goes on. So if it goes on for 10 months and you've given us $50 over 10 months, then you'll get back $50 times 10, 500. If you've given us $100 a month for 12 months and we get our payout after 12 months, then you've given us $1,200, you'll get 1,200 times 10, which will be 12,000. And that's how I'm going to do it. Now, a lot of people will laugh at me about that, and I don't care. Because, see, it works like this. It's a numbers game. And if there's one thing I know a lot about, it's a numbers game. And you can prove the numbers game anytime you want. That's why I can be so clear about the understanding of the numbers game. If you ever heard anybody mention that in a comment, oh, the numbers game, this is what it refers to. And it is absolutely proven, 100% guaranteed. Not 99, not 98, not 90. It is 100% guaranteed. And it will work for anything. Anything whatsoever, it will work for. And this is how it goes. The numbers game says, if you ask enough people, someone will say yes, is one way of putting the numbers game. So, if I go out right now, take this camera with me, and start knocking on doors, step back, and say, hello, I'm selling these at £5 each. Most people are gonna go, no thanks. Just like the people that come around selling the sponges and the clothes pegs. Most people are gonna go, no thanks. But every now and again, someone's gonna go, oh, I'll have one. Move on a bit further. I won't take that with me. I'll just go and knock on doors and say, excuse me, I'm a bit skint. Would you give me a £5, please? I guarantee you 99 doors out of 100 that you knock on, someone's going to say, every single person's going to say no. And you'll probably have a few doors slammed in your face. But let me tell you, someone will give you a £5. If, and only if, You knock on enough doors, and that is the numbers game. If you do it enough, this will happen. If whatever you want to happen, if you want to start a window cleaning business, you go knocking on doors. For every 10 doors you knock on, 8 people say bugger off. But, you know, 1 or 2 people will go, yeah, all right, I'll have my windows cleaned. I've never met you before, but I'll let you come around and clean my windows. That's the numbers game. Why is that so important? If I get 1,000 views on a post asking for money for 10 times the mint fund, I might get 20 quid through, 30, 40 quid through. If I've got 2 million views on that post, if 2 million people have seen that post, then the numbers game says out of 2 million people, a percentage of those people will be skint, a percentage of those people would love to put into it but can't, a percentage of those people will have more money than they know what to do with and therefore could just put in X amount at the blink of an eye. A percentage of those people might even be millionaires or celebrities or whatever, because we're looking at 2 million people. So if 2 million people have seen that advert, then you know that that advert has gone and got everywhere. It's got in all the corners. Someone in every village, in every town, someone somewhere, a celebrity, you don't know which one, but out of 2 million people, there will be 1 or 2, a couple of celebrities will have seen it. News station will have seen it. Absolutely, Ian Glenn will have seen it. Do you getting where I'm going? So, by putting 2 million views on that 2 million views that's just cost me £1,000 might bring me in £20,000. Might bring me in 50. So suddenly, I found a way of turning all of this redundant stock into money. But it's going to take months before I actually start getting the cash coming in, because we've got to get the views first. And all of that is really difficult. I find it a bit easier now we're all on lockdown. That's all right at the moment. You've got things to do and potter about the house, and people will be, you know, you'll be having sex, and then you'll be cooking a meal, and then you'll be having a bit more sex and cooking a more meal, but that'll only go on for so long. Do the garden. If you ain't got a garden, you'll paint the flat, and you'll run out of things to do. And you'll be playing with your collections, and you'll be looking at them, and you'll not be able to add to them very often, and one thing and another. Suddenly, oh, Uncle Ian, he's got a little plan. All you got to do is get a post off Uncle Ian, get all your friends and relatives sharing this post, which they will for you, because they'll be more than happy to help you earn a few quid while you're stuck at home, because everybody will feel a little bit sorry for everybody else, and I'm going to tap into that. And so people will be sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing, and they'll be doing this like a little job. They'll be doing this like homework, proper homework, and they will be getting paid a lump for it, a £1,000 parcel. It doesn't matter if that person ends up selling that parcel for 50 quid. Doesn't matter. They do what they want with it. They can sell it for 800, sell it for 50 quid. It doesn't matter. But what matters is that they receive the box. And in that box is £1,000 worth of coins. And not only that, I will be doing a video to show what I'm putting in the boxes. So people will be able to see what goes in the boxes. And of course there'll be things like this in the boxes. There'll be bunts, and they'll be circulated, and they'll be uncirculated, and they'll be new, and they'll be packaged, and there'll be A to Zs, and there'll be whatever. And then I'll do some print ones, and then I'll do some stamp ones, and things like that. I'll do some mixed ones. And so by giving £1,000 worth of coins that I could sell for £1,000 to a person who then goes out and gets 1,000 shares on a post, and that 1,000 shares brings me in £5 or 10 or £20,000, then I've done really well with that £1,000 parcel. And suddenly, in a couple of months' time, I may very well be in a position to just start settling all the debts, because I've now got money coming in. And I've got money coming in, and I haven't got the expenses going out. And then the more I think about that, I think, well, you know, because of how we're finishing, we may or may not be able to get Logan and Kelly their money, and I still don't know where I stand on that. If it certainly becomes as simple as me signing a bit of paper and they end up getting their money from the government, fan-dabby-dozy, and I'm more than happy to do that. But I have no idea what's going to happen. I have to work on the premise or the possibility or the pretty much whatever that Logan and Kelly won't be coming back. They may go off and find themselves other jobs now. I don't know. But that will unfold over time. And then, if they don't come back, or if their job isn't open, or whatever, which we don't know about yet, because we don't know, whether they can have it, whether they can't. But whether they come back or not, it means we're back in the position of selling coins once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of that. Now, if by the time it's time to go back to work, and I'm created an idea, a business model, if you like, of taking £1,000 worth of coins, giving them to somebody, and then that person essentially gives me back 5 or 10 grand with the shares that they're doing, why would I go back to selling individual coins? I might just do this ongoing. Who knows? We might just be a wholesale, this is what you get for doing the shares that you do. We might just do that ongoing. Who knows? If it makes more money. By doing this, I'm then in a position where I have a chance of making money. Whereas at the moment, I have no chance of making any money. So we go for the Royal Mint Fund. We go for suing the Mint and suing 288 Group. We get all the money we need from that. And it doesn't matter that £2,000 has come in and I've used that £2,000 for wages or for bills or for paying the solicitor or for whatever, and I end up giving back £20,000 for that £2,000. I don't care. I needed that £2,000 now. So when I get the massive payout in a year or 2 years' time, I don't care that I'm paying 20 grand back for £2,000 that I had, because they gave me that when I needed it. And the overall cost and the overall claim is more than 10 million on each. 288 Group, Royal Mint, it's more than 10 million. 10 grand a day, going back to November 2017. Do the figures yourself, add it up. I don't know how much it adds up to now, but do the figures yourself, that's what it comes to. So I can take any amount of money doing the 10 times the mint thing. I can take in 10 times. So what's the most that I could take in? Probably, if we took in 500,000, we'd be paying back out 5 million. And we may even be able to claim for all of that, like you do court costs, because we have to get people to put the money in, and maybe you can argue for getting that back. So that might even be on top. Who knows? But that is the only chance I have. That is the only chance I have to make any money. That is the only chance I have to get reparations. That is the only chance I have to spank them, and that is the only chance I have to get anybody else their money back. And if anybody else out there thinks I'm off my tits and has a better idea, please tell me, because it's the best idea I can come up with, and I think it's a good one. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on. We have somebody running a group. We have Richard running a group now. He's going to be the admin. Well, he will be when I come off here. We have more people in there now already, waiting for posts. People waiting for posts. Pay attention to that, Royal Mint and Ian Glenn. I have people sitting in there now waiting for me to come off here and give them a post that they can go off and share. It is not hard work to find people to do this posting lark for £1,000 worth of coins. That has got to be the easiest roll call I've ever made. I want people for this, and I'm getting it like that. And I've got enough of this to cover it all. So, that's how we're going to fight back. That's what we're going to do from now on. And all of the other stuff will have no choice but to stop. And we will try and fix every issue that has ever happened. And every person like Judith, who's owed a couple of quids for whatever she's owed money for, every single person at some stage will get sorted out and looked after. Every single person. Because I won't turn my back on a single person. But that is not going to be done in 5 minutes. That is going to be a painstaking job for me and John. And remember, John is ill as well as this virus. He's already ill, you know. So that's the plan. Did you watch Martin Lewis last night? I think you may be able to do furlough workers. He said no one will get into trouble. Government wants people to be furloughed and have money to keep the economy going. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I went on last night after the news and everything. I went online and I tried to look at what I could claim for, and I couldn't find anything to claim for. And it's also going to be a bit more difficult because the idea that I had meant that the person doing all of that work would have been Logan at home doing that. But that becomes illegal, so he can't do that. So I'm not too sure how we go on. You know, I went on to our Santander to try and tap into the business interruption fund. There's this business interruption fund that the government have set up that every business is supposed to be guaranteed to be able to get. There is nothing on the Santander website that allows me to do it. The only thing it allowed me to do up to last night was it said, if you want to apply for an overdraft, you can apply for an overdraft, and if you get turned down, we will automatically consider you for the business interruption fund that the government's just put up. But there's no way of applying to that fund directly for me at the minute. So, and the wages thing, well, that probably, I probably won't be able to get anything on that either. So I'm probably it's gonna be a funny turn of events actually, because some of you are thinking, because of the comment that I'm getting there and one or two other comments, some of you are thinking there's more and more, it looks like there's more and more chance that Kelly and Logan could end up getting furloughed money. Which if that's right, then that's great. But it's also looking on the other side of the coin, more and more like I won't. Because they're going to be basing it on profits. And my profits have gone downhill over the last year, you know. So I don't know where we stand on that. And we haven't got an accountant now, remember, because we needed a new accountant. Our accountant's mother got terminal cancer, and so, you know, that was an unlucky break. So we've got to do all of that. What happens if your plan doesn't work? Like it. I like it. More so because I know who it's from. Okay, Jim. What happens if my plan doesn't work? I'll ask you a question, Jim. What happens if you stop breathing? Go on then. What happens if you stop breathing? I mean, you've heard everything I've said. So, you know, that's where we are. The question you're asking me, what happens if your plan don't work? What happens if you stop breathing? You stop breathing, you die. My plan doesn't work, we die. That's it. But it's it anyway. And that's why I find it so funny. I'll kick the bucket. Exactly. So will everything else around me. It's going to kick the bucket. It's not, you know. But I am a very positive guy. And I'm a very creative guy. And I don't lay down in a fight. Do you have a backup? No. This is my backup, Jim. My backup is this idea. And make no bones about it, if you are a person that I owe £5 to, or a person like Judith I might owe £100 to, or a person like, I can't mention names of investors, but a person that I owe £10,000 to, let me tell you this, no matter what I owe you, if you want to see your money again, then get behind me any way you can now. Because this is it. This is the last chance. Without the coronavirus, there wasn't even this chance. The only reason that what I'm about to do and what I'm doing now makes sense in any semblance of any world is the sheer fact that we have got this coronavirus locking the entire world down, and we've now got 30 million, 40 million, 50 million people in this country alone stuck indoors. There are 4 billion, 5 billion people around the world, more, stuck indoors, as constrained as they possibly can be. And some of them are lucky enough to live like me and have a bit of space. And some of them ain't. Some of them, you've got 40 people living in a house. Sometimes you've got several people living in a room, and so on. And flats and no gardens and all the rest of it. These people are going to be going stir crazy. They want something to do. You can sit in the garden on your own in a corner and you can just sit and do this. Like playing candy wassits. Something came out. What is it? It's called Candy something or other. Candy Crush. Whatever. By using it like a little game. Something you can just do. Now, if this don't work, that's it. It don't work. It don't work. Nobody will get a single thing. At the moment, we are at a stage where nobody gets anything anyway. So, nobody gets anything anyway. Shall we do that where if it don't work, nobody gets anything? But if it does work, everybody gets. What should we do? Should we go for it or not bother? And I don't like going, no, I can't be bothered. And I don't like giving up. So I like to carry on fighting, and this is the only way, this is all I've got left to fight with, so I'll use that. And, you know, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to any of my customers, but get behind it or don't. It's entirely up to you. As of now, all your money is gone. You can blame me for it. I can be the most hated man in England, and you can want to cut my throat, but your money's gone, finished. And the coronavirus did that, finished us off. I mean, we had the problems anyway, I'm not blaming that, but I am saying the coronavirus thing has finished us off. I can't trade in anything. So, as of this moment, as of the other day when everything closed, that is it. It's gone, it's finished, and there's nothing I can do. I assume we can't use our points now to buy into the Royal Mint fight. Is it cash only? I don't know about that. I'll have to look into that at some point, because all points does, I can't spend your points at the solicitors, and I can't spend your points buying shopping, and I can't spend your points paying wages and paying electric and water and HMRC bills and whatever. So it has to be cash for that. And the only way of doing it is either by bank transfer, or the best way of doing it now, especially for your own records, so you've got the records of it and it's all set out properly and everything. The best way of doing it now is on the Patreon. If you do it on the Patreon, then you know you can look at that. I've done it so that you can look at that. If you're on low income or whatever, but you want to put a bit of something into it, then the lowest one is £5 a month, or $5 a month, which is probably about £4 or something. But you know, you can put in a small amount or you can put in a big amount. You can still choose how much you put in, but it has to be cash only. The points and stuff, we're still working on that. We're still working on a website. That work will still get done. We are working on it. Butch is not back. Butch is going to be missing for a while, and that's because he's now got to look after number one. He's got to look after his own family, so he needs to be on Arizona time. And we often forget that when I come on here at 11 o'clock in the morning, poor old Butch, it's up past 3 in the morning for him. And if he's got up an hour before the show, it's up past 2 in the morning. So he has to do that. I'll come back to you in a second, Jim. He has to do that, and absolutely. So you know, going to miss you, Butch. We're going to miss him a lot, and you can all let him know that you miss him if you want. I'm sure he'll be chuffed to know that he is missed. But it's not for any undue reasons, and it's not because of any fallouts. And I know people read things into things that ain't necessarily there sometimes, but it's not for any of that reason. Simply because he needs to be on his own time now, and needs to be looking after his family. He said he will still help us out with the computer stuff and that in between, and we'll have him back on the shows at some point, right? But that's what we'll do with that. Now, I know about issues between you and Warren, but it's not my business or problem. Just to make that clear, I like coins. Right, so what you know about, Jim, is that I had, past tense, issues with Warren. And I'm going to be very clear on this. For anybody else that's watching, I had issues with Warren. Those, that past tense, that finished, I can't even tell you when that finished, how long ago that finished. For me, I don't know about anybody else out there in the ether world of internet, but for me, that finished a long time ago. That was so long ago, I can't remember, weeks ago. That was gone, finished. I have no problem with Warren. Warren is a vulnerable person. He has health issues, and we are in a shitstorm right now. The world is turning to shit. Issues with Warren? Don't even come into it. You know, it is as in mine and Warren's fallout now, in the grand scheme of things, as important as a grain of sand on an entire beach. It is nothing. It doesn't matter. It's gone. It's finished. I wish Warren the very best of health. I hope everything works out for him. And the only thing I would ever say to Warren is, a really good idea for you is to do your own videos based on you, because there is something about you. And I reckon if he did his videos based on him, he can't do them much on coins now, can he? Because like everybody else, you ain't going to be able to get access to many coins. You know, people have got to switch a bit, and he's got a presence. Anyway, so I have no issues with Warren. I wish Warren the best of luck. We had a fallout. That's been dealt with. It caused a lot of damage. No one can do anything about that. It's done. It's dusted. Move on. And I hope he moves on, and he does very well for himself. So I've got no problems there. So there's, you know, issues, Warren, past tense. Got it? And everybody else should be doing the same. Any fallouts you've had with anybody? You had a fallout with a neighbour? You had a fallout with someone in the family? Really? Does it matter now? This is that one time in life, that one time in history that should be giving you a wake-up call, smacking you in the face when you look at yourself in the mirror, and letting you know that that row you had don't matter anymore. And it will never matter again. Ever. That row you had with your brother or your sister or your auntie or your uncle or your niece or your nephew or your son or your daughter, really, it don't matter. Or a Warren or a Lou or a Judith or a Richard, doesn't matter anymore. People ain't getting that yet. There's a lot of things don't matter anymore. You know? And we have to be ready for it. It's not finished. It ain't finished. Some of you are going to die. I said this ages ago. It's a horrible feeling. But it's going to happen. Someone on here, one of you, we're going to see it one day. Someone's just going to be missing. And then all of a sudden one day, someone else is going to come on, like Nanny or Judith or someone, and they're going to go, oh, did you know so-and-so's passed away? This is going to affect every single one of you by the time this is finished. The numbers game, again, it guarantees it. Every single one of you will know somebody who's died. you will know somebody who's caught the virus, or you will know somebody, your friend, your neighbour, who's got a relative or a friend that's died. This is going to be one of those things. And if you are one of those people that haven't quite woke up to that yet, it's just going to be one of those things. Every single one of us is going to know somebody. And that is not nice. That's horrible. And at the moment, you've got things like misinformation, and you've got countries like China that just are not giving any information out anymore. So you now can't go by proper statistics because the statistics are all wrong, because they're not giving the proper statistics. They're not taking the right people into account. In China's statistics, in the statistics that they were giving, they weren't counting in the people that were asymptomatic, the people that tested that that have got antibodies in them, that are okay. They've tested it, but they're okay. They ain't going to die, or they've caught it and they're okay, and they're not, and they come out of it again. They didn't count them. Lots of that stuff going on. Son ordered a coin for his birthday in February. Ian hasn't received it. No stress, Mr. Lambert. He just wants to know that's all, if possible, or he will order another. Yeah, see, there's nothing I can do, mate. Nothing I can do. Because I can't go out and post. I can't go to the post office. I can't do any of that. And to send somebody one coin on a 24-hour delivery parcel courier is just no good. I wouldn't be able to do it anyway. So it's got to put on hold. So if you are waiting for a coin like your son from me, you're going, until we can sort a deal out, and I can't do that yet with you, but I will. At some point, I will do a deal. So if you've got a possibility of going and buying that coin from someone else now, I'd go and buy it. Go and buy it off someone else now, and just keep hold of the fact that I owe you a £5 or a £10 or whatever it is I owe you. And then at some point, I will then be able to go through things like this, talk to you and say, oh, by the way, I owe you £10. Now, what are we going to do about it? Do you want me to refund you, or can I give you something else or whatever? And we will do a deal at that point in the future. That's what I'm looking at. Cool. But that's what my suggestion would be for this chap and anybody else. If you're waiting on something and you really want that, and you've got a chance of getting it from someone else, don't wait to get it from me. Get it from them. And put it in your mind that as of now, that's it. It's finished. Individual coins, finished. As of now, finished. Right? Put it that way in your minds. And whatever you think I owe you, we will work it out. Right? But I have to put all of that to one side right now and focus on what I can do. And this is the only course of action I've got left. This is the only thing I can do. So I'm going to attack this with everything that I've got. And plus, by doing it this way, as I say, the only wrapping and packing I will be doing every now and again, and it won't be every day, will be putting these £1,000 parcels together. They will be few and far between. They'll be every now and again. So by not having individual coin orders to deal with, when I do start getting back to a bit of normality, me and John should hopefully be able to just start pulling them files down one folder at a time and working our way through them. Getting a pile of receipts and working our way through them and settling everybody. We should be able, in theory, to be able to do that, and we'll have more time to be able to do that, because we won't be coming in, spending our time running a coin business. I think the days of me running a coin business are finished. The days of me ever running a coin business, an individual coin business, I think those days are finished. I don't think that's going to come back. I think I'm logical and sensible enough to realise that that's probably not going to come back. If anything, if this idea works, then I'll just carry on doing this. Because then that gives us another, I don't know, there's a world of things I could think about doing. Why is some of us banned? What reason were we banned for when we had done nothing wrong in the first place? Well, banned from what, Alexander? You can't be banned from this, otherwise we wouldn't see your comment, would we? So what are you banned from? If you were banned for a reason, but without knowing where you're talking about being banned from. And if maybe it's been opened up, you know, we did have a amnesty of our own and we opened it up for everybody. And then I think a couple of people went and got themselves banned again. You know, you won't get banned, neither will anybody else in any of my streams if you play nice and you be polite. The minute anybody starts doing anything that we don't like, then you know, that's offensive, then you get banned. And if I remember rightly, you might be the chap that came on a couple of times on our screens, and then you wasn't very pleasant about us on a load of other streams. This is a different account. Oh, okay. Well, you know, if you are one of the people that wasn't very pleasant about us on other streams, then you would have got banned for that. And if you want to come back into our streams, you're welcome to come back into our streams on this account, no problem. But if you ever, if any of our guys see you going off stirring trouble or saying things or whatever that are offensive, then you'll be banned from our stream. We won't take the view. See, some people will take the view, oh well, if you go off and you're not very pleasant on another person's stream, well, that's you being not pleasant over there. We don't care. You can come here and still be okay. I don't go with that. I don't roll with that way of thinking. You know, I roll with a way of thinking well, if somebody's being really nasty and unpleasant over there, don't let them in here. Make sure they're automatically blocked from coming in here. I don't want them in here because I don't want all that kind of stuff in here. So, you know, these are the rules, clear cut. You know me by now, Alexander. How many of my videos have you seen? You know, I am straight with you. If someone gets caught up in something, well, sorry about that. But if you want to be in our stream, you play nice. And you play nice against other people. Especially mean that, against other people. So there's no, you know, if you want to go off and you want to be nasty in someone else's stream, go off and be nasty in someone else's stream. I say this to everybody, not to Alexander, by the way. Go off and be nasty in somebody else's stream. But if we see that, then don't be surprised if one day you come into our stream and find that you can't leave a message because you're blocked. Because I don't go for all of that. You know, I don't go for that nastiness. You know, exactly, as Nanny Sue just said, you know, do you really need to ask Alex? You know, if it was from the site, there is no site, so what are you worried about? Doesn't matter that you're as far as I'm aware, you wasn't banned from buying off us off the site. But even if you was, what difference does it make now? We're finished. There is no individual coin sales. It is what I've said it is, and if you didn't hear any of that, you might want to watch this from the beginning. I'm going into a completely new business now. We are changing our business overnight. So I'm only into the homeworking now because that's where I'm going to be spanking 288 and the Royal Mint, and that's where I'm going to get my money from. And hopefully by the end of this, there will be enough money in that little pot to walk down to the solicitors and say, Mr. Solicitor, I'm glad you got through the virus thing okay and you didn't snuff it. Glad you're back at work. Here's 20 grand. Let's get the court thing going. Look at that, 32 watching, 70 thumbs ups. And about half a dozen people that don't like what I've got to say, that's all right. So, will you still collect coins for your personal pleasure? No, Jim. No, I don't think I will. Will I? You see, I think a true collector, like Jim said there, you know, will you still collect coins for your own personal collection? I think a true collector would, before even putting a single parcel together, would go through everything and take one of everything out. and go, well, I'm going to take one of everything out for my own personal collection and just build up a massive collection. I don't think I will. No. I think if I ever get to be able to collect anything, I'll probably go for collecting silver or gold one day. Yeah, if I was going to do anything, it'd probably be that. I don't think it would be any of this at all. I don't think I'd bother with any of this. And that's only because I have seen too much in 7 years. I've seen nice, I've seen lovely, I've seen love, I've seen hatred, I have seen nasty, I have seen vindictive, I have seen evil. All of these things some coins. King coins. Just a few coins. So, no, I don't think I would. I think I'll be glad to get out of it. I will be the happiest man in the world if I can get through and come out the other side of this tunnel, pay everybody off and give Royal Mint and 288 a spanking and still have enough money left over to buy a house to die in. That'd do me. That'd do me, and TGBCH is no more. I'm fine with that. You know, I'm 56 years old. I can't do this forever. I'm ill. I nearly died several times. It's like, you know. But I still won't go down without a fight. So we win this fight, and then I'll, you know, pack it in. And there is no better way of being able to deal with all the stock than the way I'm doing it, because it's going to go to collectors, it's going to go where it needs to go, and it's going to go by date and by coin instead of by bulk. And it'll include everything. Those parcels will include everything. They will include foreign coins at 50 quid. They will include 50p's at 3 and 4 and 5 quid. They will include 50p's at 15, 20 quid. They will include Bunsey and package. They'll include whatever. What have you done with the coins you told us you were putting aside every day as an investment? So the coins that I told you that I was putting aside out of my wages at that time, do you remember? I did. I put a load of coins aside. I had little envelopes, and that was my week. That was 200 quid of my wages that week on that, and 200 quid of my wages on that week on that, and so on. I've started getting those back out. So I will use those as well. So even the stuff that was my wages that I bought and paid for, retail price, I will probably put back into the parcels. You know, I'll keep some. I'll keep one of each maybe of the package I've got, or one of each of the bunts or something like that. But I won't be going down the road of like one of each 50p, of which there are several hundred. You know, or that kind of thing. So, yeah, so to answer that question, what have you done with the coins you told us you were putting aside? So anything that I've put aside, I've got back out and I use. I'm not one of those people that would take all that and go, right, that's all that, I'm gonna have all that, that's my wages, and everybody else can bugger off. I don't do that kind of thing. You know. Probably one of the reasons why I never bothered collecting coins in the first place, because what is the collection? You know, this is it. This is my collection. All of it. You know, that is my collection. Or that's not all of it, but I mean, that's part of it. And that, you know, that lot on the bottom row down there, well, they're all 50p's, little boxes of 50p's. You know, and then you've got a couple of them big boxes of Peter Rabbits there, and then you've got all them boxes and trays on the top, they're all 50p's. Then on the top, £2, and then you've got 10p's above them. And that's just in here. That ain't the garage, and that ain't the garden, and that ain't the shed. So, you know, there are going to be people that... well, I suppose this would be a good opportunity, wouldn't it? Why don't we? There are going people that no doubt think Ian's frantically cashing it all in, and he's going to cash it all in, and he's going to run away with the money, and we're all buggered. Mr. Blacksmith Jones. So let's just take a little trip, shall we? Oh, let's put a bit of light on the subject. A bit of light would be a good thing. So, all the pennies still there, still boxed, still dated, and these is just the small ones ready for going into a box and posting, you know. And then your 2p's, and then you go further down and you've got half p's all the way. See it? So if anybody says to you, oh, I bet Ian's cashed it all in, I bet he's run down a bank, I bet he's run off with all the money, you know, there's your 5p's, all your dates of the 5p's. And remember, these are small boxes, because these are just here waiting to come and get a coin out of a box and put it in an envelope or whatever, you know. 10p's dating back, and then of course, what's the next one down? Got your 20p's, and down here we got some, we've got £5, things like that. So we've got them over there, and then we got this was some stuff that I'd also put aside, but then we got some 10p's down on the bottom there. And then we've got more over on this side. See? And a bit more, and a bit more, and a bit more, and a bit more, and then we got more down there, more down there. And then we've got big boxes down here with stuff in. Some of these have got, as you can see, sheets of coins in. Some of those sheets of coins are like 70 quid. Another box there full up. Some other stuff there. So that gives you and then I don't know if we can show you this. So can you see just there, there's a couple of great big bins just there. You see them? Big square bins. They're full of money. Well, they're not full of money. They're full of other stuff, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of those bins, great big ones, the other side. And that, where is it? That there, behind that chair, that is one big bin there, right? And there are 4 bins full of money. Huge. So essentially, so that's a normal sized small box, and you see the size of that one compared to that one. And there are 4 of these down there full of money. So and then down there you've got different things. There you go. Don't know what questions came in then, but there you go. So you get an idea of literally how much we've got, and then, you know, like you've seen the shelves in here, like you see those shelves, and we've got we've got sheds down the bottom, and those shelves I've got full of shelves in the sheds and thousands of coins in there. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I would love to rummage through your drawers, says Angela. Absolutely, you could rummage through my drawers anytime you like. And there would be so much here to sort of see. So much to see. So if you want to get involved in doing this, now one of you I remember said that they haven't got a Facebook account. Was that you, Nanny? Was it you that said you haven't got a Facebook account and therefore you can't do it? Because whoever that is, I have got a spare Facebook account. Yes, it was Nanny Sue. I have got a spare Facebook account. So if you wanted to use one of my accounts, go easy with it. I don't want to get it blocked. But if you wanted to use it, you could use it. I'll give it to you. Give you the login details. You can use it, and then you can join the VIP group, and then you can get yourself a £1,000 coin parcel. Why not, Nanny? You've got nothing else to do at home. Well, you have, obviously, you know, but you know what I mean. Ian, did you see my question about the pound? No. Any other questions I've missed? Whack them up again. Yeah, no, I can't see it. But I do need a bit of a Jimmy. So I'm just going to take this out here rather than you see a brick wall. I'm going to let you see my garden whilst it's better than watching a brick wall. Whilst I just go for a quick. Have a little listen to the pond. Yeah, was that nice? So you don't want to go on your Facebook. That's all right, no worries. I just thought if you wanted to do it, I've got a spare account. You know, log in, do a few shares, log out. Log in next day, do a few shares, log out. Yeah, over a few months, 1,000 shares, wallop, parcel. So, blow my nose now. And you might wonder, well, what videos? This will be one of them. This will be one of the videos. Well, I could show you what to do. You know, it's easy. I mean, one of the accounts I've got, it's already joined groups. So all you have to do is just do how we do it and make a list of the groups and then share it to a group, tick it off. Share it to a group, tick it off. Do 5-10 shares a day. As time goes on, get more and more done. Easy peasy. It's probably one of the easiest things there is to do. It's hard not to get carried away with it. Do you know what I mean? Andrew, who won the £1,000 giveaway? Well, again, how do we do that? It wasn't a £10,000 giveaway, by the way, Andrew. It was £1,000. It was 10,000 points. So if I do a draw now and I give you that whoever wins it, let's say Nanny Sue wins it, and I give Nanny Sue 10,000 points, what's she going to do with them? She can't spend them. So I will probably change that and do a £1,000 parcel, which is the same as giving somebody £1,000 worth of points and them spending them points on coins. I'll put a £1,000 parcel together or something. So we'll do something. You know, when we put a lot of work and effort into that, we'll do something. The other day, someone said they thought that the video had been taken down. Can I ask what are the £1,000 parcels? Yeah, I'm not going to go through that again, Mr. Blacksmith Jones. Just watch the video from the beginning, and then you'll see what that's all about. You've obviously missed a part of the video, so watch it from the beginning and you'll see what that's all about. Otherwise, I'll just be repeating what I've already said. And Butch is always telling me not to do that. He says, don't do that. If they want to know what you said, tell them to watch the video from the beginning. But that's what I'm doing. That's how we're doing it. We're going to do these £1,000 coin parcels. We're going to have about 50 people, maybe even 100 people getting them. And you can do one after the other. So if you are lucky enough to have a huge friends list, if you're lucky enough to be part of groups or own groups that have got lots of people in them or whatever, you can do 1,000 shares, get a £1,000 parcel, then do another 1,000 shares, get another £1,000 parcel, do another 1,000 shares, get another £1,000 parcel. And you know, if you're all off work for a year, you could end up with £5,000, 5 coin parcels over a year or something like that. You know, it is a hell of an opportunity for a lot of people right now. I've got a mouth like that, and so apart from wanting to know what the £1,000 coin parcels are or how that works, don't want them kind of questions, because it might not be. Start again, Angela, because they're answered by just watching the video again from the beginning. But has anybody got any questions about that? Any investors out there not too sure of what I've been saying? Anybody want to sort of check with me to see any questions they're not sure of? Or anything like that? I can, yeah, you're showing, but I can't see that other question. So, what was the other question, Angela, that you wanted me to answer, darling? Type it again, quick. It's mad, 70 odd people have come in. You know, so this is one of the videos we'll share. We'll have someone on this one. Could you please explain about the pound, what you said the other day about buying it now and how? Oh, I see. Yeah, sure. Sure. So if the pound is high, dollar is low, then when you buy something, it's cheaper for you. So if you get, let's do it easy. We haven't seen this, I don't think ever, but supposing you got $2 for every pound, right? Then if you get $2 for a pound and you've got something for sale for $50, right? And you get $2 to a pound, then even though that's for sale for $50, it's cost you 25 quid. So if the pound goes down, and let's say for a pound you get $1, $1 equals a pound instead of $2 for a pound, supposing it goes $1 equals a pound, then when you want to buy that item for $50, it's costing you £50. So the lower the pound and the higher the dollar, the more expensive the items are for us to buy, in that sense. Right? Now you might think, oh, well, that don't matter to me, I don't buy anything off the Americans or whatever anyway. What matters, the way it matters is, if a dollar is worth a pound, and so you go to the post office and you say, here's 100 quid, or here's £1,000, I'd like dollars please, and dollars is $2 to a pound, then you go, here's £1,000, and they go, here, oh, love, here's $2,000, right? Because it's $2 for a pound. So you give me £1,000, I'll give you $2,000 back. Now, later on, sometime you're sitting there, you've got them $2,000 cash sitting there on a sideboard. And then a year later, and then dollars have been sitting there in your cupboard on a sideboard for a year, right? $2,000. And then in a year's time, the exchange rate changes. And suddenly, it's a pound for a dollar. So $1 equals £1. So if you then take those $2,000 back to the post office and say, I don't want these anymore, I'll have pounds please. You give them those $2,000, because the dollar has now gone $1 to £1, you will get back £2,000, even though you only spent £1,000 on it in the first place, because the currency's changed. The price of the dollar has changed to the price of the pound. That's what that's all about. So when you see £1 equals, say, $1.70, or £1 equals €1.40, then you know the pound is strong. When you see the pound on the news and they show £1 equals €1.05, you know the pound is weak. When you see £1 equals $1.20 or $1.30, or $1, you know the pound is really weak. When you see £1 equals $2 and £1 equals €1.50 and €1.70 and so on, you know the pound is strong. See what I mean? And that's how people make money out of currency. But of course you buy it in bulk, so you buy, when currency fluctuates by a few cents here and there, you don't make any money by spending £1,000 on dollars. You only make any money if you're spending £1 million on dollars. Right? Because you buy £1 million worth of dollars, and then the price changes by 20 cents, and you cash them all in again, you've just made a bundle of money for nothing. But for the small investor like you and me, it only works when there is a massive change to the currency rates, and that only happens when there are crashes in the marketplace. So when there's a big crash, then you're going to have a big movement in the marketplace. And that's when you get things that are happening now, where the pound is very weak and the dollar is a lot stronger. And the reason for that is because Donald Trump has literally put more money into the marketplace, the economy, than what Boris has. And our government is pouring money into this black hole to try and bolster up the economy. So's Trump, so's every other country in the world. They're all trying to bolster up their economy. But he's doing a better job than we are, so the dollar is stronger. or week, or is it week? Oh, I know you're getting me confused, but it's at that point, or is it the other way round? The pound is strong because the dollar is weak, isn't it? No, it's the other way round, because you get $2 for a pound, you make money. No, the pound is strong at the moment because the dollar is weak. Because for one, no, it's not. The pound is strong. The pound is weak because the dollar is strong. It's confusing. But at the moment, the pound is weak because the dollar is stronger. The dollar's stronger, so it's fighting. It's fighting more, and it's coming up to the value of the pound. You know, when you get to a point where $1 is worth £1, that is a bad, bad state for our economy. For the American economy, that would be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It means the Americans have got more money. That whole economy picking up. So the closer the dollar gets to the pound, the stronger the American economy is and the weaker our economy is. Fran? Cup of tea down here. Oh, Caspers, I didn't see you hiding under the table. Hello. Oh. Hello, Caspers. He looks all scared, doesn't he? No, he's not though. He's a good boy. Love you, Dad. Yeah. So this will be one of the videos that we get shared, and it will get 1,000 shares on this video, and that means that at some point this video is going to get 1 million hits on it. You know, and depending on how much of this video people watch, and you see, that's my other idea, is that in the normal course of things, what was I going to say? It was going to be something really profound. A bit subliminal. Oh yeah. In the normal course of things, I knew a Casper once, he was very friendly. Stop smacking your lips. In the normal course of things, all of you and all the people now that are at home, right? You lead such busy and hectic lives. Everything is quick. Everything is quick. So when you're looking at posts and you're looking at things and it's all quick. When you're looking at videos that people have sent you and they say, hey, Dave, watch this. It's all quick, and if it don't get you in the first couple of minutes, you don't watch all of it and all the rest of it. No one's got the time, right? Changes overnight. Boom, changed. Suddenly, everybody's got time. Suddenly, to me, making quick 5-minute videos, they ain't what people are going to want now. People are going to want longer videos. People are going to want, subconsciously, they ain't going to know it, but they're going to want longer videos, because you are going to have, and so are they, so much time on your hands. So much time. There's only so much you can do at home before you go stir crazy. And so therefore, to have videos that people can sit and watch for an hour and 2 hours, I think that's going to put me in a stronger position in that sense. And I'm working and I'm playing to that. So the videos that I will be getting these 1,000 shares on, they ain't all going to be 2-minute and 5-minute and 10-minute videos. They're going to be 1 hour and 2 hour videos and all that kind of stuff. So there's going to be, people are going to know. They're not just going to see quick 2 minutes about a problem. They are going to know about the issues with 288. They're going to know about the issues that we've had, because I'm going to pick on videos that I want to highlight. And I want 1 million people watching. Just thought it was important I say that. Got it, thank you. Sort it sound thick. No, you ain't. Oh, by the way, and sorry for sounding grumpy. It doesn't sound grumpy, it's alright. Not at all. Just got a few minutes break today. Hello, Richard. Richard is going to be looking after the VIP group for us, or he's going to try to. He's going to start off with that, see how it goes. So that then frees up my time in looking into the group. So Richard will be the one that you'll be talking to in the group, and then Richard will talk to me, and we will give you the posts that we want you to share. And Richard is someone that's he's not going mental with it. I think Richard has had a post now he was one of the first people to say, yeah, I'll do it. And I think in nearly 2 weeks, he's got about 120 shares, something like that, 150 shares, something like that. So he's on his way. See what I mean? It's something that you just do every day. Just do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You're not working on it for hours on a day. You're not working on it for an hour a day. You just log in, you go where you need to go, boom, boom, share it to a few places. 135 shares and 2,500 views. And you see the views now have not caught up with the shares, because he shared it so many times that the posts that he shared it to, and he shared it in groups and places like that, they haven't all been read yet, because people haven't all gone in there, and all the people in the group haven't gone in the group and read since last time they went in. So these shares will get seen next week. The ones he's already done last week, by some people, won't be seeing them till next week or the week after, by which time he's done another 50 shares. See? That's how this is going to work. I've got messages flying in left, right and centre. So forgive me if I don't answer them all. And for those people out there that might be thinking of sending me some kind of nasty threatening message or whatever, join the queue. I've already got them. I've got at least half a dozen to a dozen nasties on here. Name calling, everything. Nasty, 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 nasty stuff. But it won't faze me. It's only words. It's only words. I'll deal with it all the best way I can. If you want to know why I'm always doing that, it's because I dribble. I can't drink a cup of tea or talk for long without starting to dribble. So I'm always doing that, drying that corner of my mouth. And it's because of the teeth problem. And I can't get my teeth now because the dentists don't want me down there. So I've got to wait. So I've still got half a gob. Alright then, so we've done an hour and a half. I'm not going to keep the video just going for 2 hours, and like I say, like I did the other day, you know, just keep going and going and going, like I say, I'll stop. And we'll call it a day if there's no more questions and I've said everything that I've got to say. I can tell you this though, in closing, some of the stuff that you're hearing, you're not being told the truth. We're not being told the truth. This virus started back on the 17th of November. That's a long, long, long time ago. And you'll notice that the Chinese and South Korea, these are places that have done massive, massive, massive testing. And you've been seeing the questions from Gary Gibbon and so on, asking the Prime Minister and asking people, why are we so woefully unprepared? Why are we only now ordering these tests and kits and all the rest of it? And they won't be honest and tell the truth. And I can tell you why it is. There is a truthful answer to that, and the truthful answer to that is, if you investigate, you will find that since SARS, the Eastern world have probably put more money into stockpiling the ingredients needed for the testing kits and masks and what are these things called, breathing respirators and things like that they're making now, forget the name they said now. We need loads and loads of, what is it, what are they? What are they? Respirators, and what is it they're making loads of? Dyson's making them. Anyway, all these things that you need, they've been making them for a long time. They've been stockpiling these since SARS. What do we stockpile? Ventilators, thank you. Mr. Blacksmith Jones, thank you very much. Ventilators, right? They've been stockpiling these non-stop, like we stockpile bullets and bombs. They've been stockpiling these because they know it's coming. They know that they're going to get it again. They're prepared. They've been prepared for the Wuhan virus. This could have been so much worse, and would have been if the Chinese hadn't stopped their Chinese New Year. I just found out this morning, on the Chinese New Year, 400, get your head around this, right? Try and get your head around this. 400 million people go on the move. 400 million. Can you imagine that? There isn't 400 million in America. So that's like the entire population of America and the entire population of the United Kingdom and the entire population of Australia and New Zealand, all put together, all going on the move at the same time. 400 million people. And they all go on the move at the same time every year. A massive, massive migratory thing, because it's a Chinese New Year. And at the last minute, they cancelled it. But when they cancelled it, 5 million people had already gone on the move. 5 million. 5 million. That's almost, what, the entire population of New Zealand all went on the move. So for the Chinese to get a handle on the virus the way they have done is absolutely amazing. But the only reason they've been able to get on top of it is because they knew it was coming. And, you know, I haven't seen many people talking about this, but China is almost the capital of the world for nasty, horrible ways of dealing with food. You know, these people that go into the water with clubs and literally bash the dolphins to death. They can't even kill them mercifully. They have to go out in their rowboats and literally just bash them to death. You know, they corner them all in, and then they go in and they bash them all to death. And they tie dogs up, and they tie ducks up and chickens up, and they tie them up in bundles and have them on their shoulders, hanging on bits of, alive by the, hanging on a thread, but they're allowed to do this. You know, an image I can't get out of my head no matter how much I try, because of this news that I've been watching. I came across it and I didn't watch it. I got off it really quick. I don't want to see it, but it's too late. And it was a picture. It was something. It was about this chef that was about to get his comeuppance, but I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it to see him get his comeuppance because the video starts off with the chef in front of the cooker, and there is a dog alive, still hair, everything alive, in a huge pan in water on the stove. And this chef is about to get his comeuppance. I saw that. I want him to get his comeuppance. I want the dog to bite his throat out, but I couldn't watch anymore. Can't get that image out of my head. That is what it's like in places like that. So SARS virus, Ebola, bird flu, coronavirus, and the next one, Ian virus, this virus, that virus, the next virus. They're all going to come again and again and again and again and again. And they're not going to stop coming because these people are not being conditioned and educated by their government that this is not the way to live. This is not the way to treat animals. This is not the way to treat food. This is disgusting. These live marketplaces with blood everywhere and disease everywhere and chickens mixing with ducks and pigs and all of that stuff. All of this stuff that we would not allow to go on in the Western world, they live like this every single day, and we in the Western world are condoning it. What they should do now is every single country should get together and say, from now on, we are not even letting planes go in and out of countries like that. We're not going to let you join our freedom of movement and world and all the rest of it if you're going to be like that. Sort your country out, and then you can have planes coming in and out. You know, they should all be embargoed. They should all be put on this worldwide. Sort your country out. Do the living standards, the health, the hygiene, the human rights. Sort it all out before you can open your country up again. If I had my way. It's outrageous that all of this stuff goes on, and then the rest of the world has to pick up the pieces because someone hasn't washed their hands properly and they spread a disease, and the next thing you know, half the world's got the disease. What's going to happen with China over this? This is not the first time. It is always coming from China. I think the last 4 viruses that have come out have come from China. And it ain't going to get better. We were key workers but had to close 7 out of 11 body shops. Mine was one. So is yours closed down now, Ian? This is so big it's unfathomable. You couldn't imagine our society being at a stage where people are dragging bodies out into the street, or the army's coming along and they're looking for the houses that are marked because the government tells us to mark the house or a door in a certain way. And I honestly think that's coming. And people are coming in and out. Bring out the dead, bring out the dead. You've got that scenario in Italy right now. May not be on the news, but that's what's happening in Italy right now. Is they're doing house to houses, they're going into places and they're finding their bodies left, right and centre. So with this happening, and remember we've been talking about this for a couple of months now, right? With this happening, people like Ian now, all of a sudden, boom, gone. Yesterday, last week, he had a job, he's still going to work. Now, no job. Got to go home. He's going to drive his wife potty. Lucky for his wife, Ian makes rings. She can get rid of him down the shed for a little bit. Sod off down the shed, get out of my way. You know. So that's why we're tying in and buying into that, and it's like, okay, there's going to be a lot of people like Ian, and I'm watching that unfold. There's going to be a lot more people like Ian, going to be stuck at home, have nothing to do. You're going to need something to do. Oh, when he says a body shop, Popcorn, he's talking about a car body shop. He's not talking about the body shop as in, you know, soap. He's talking about the car body shop. He works at a car body shop. Some of them would be key workers, depending on who they're looking after. I read a document saying the virus was probably given to an animal in China, a bit like an anteater, and it was probably from a bad bite. And with that, the only bat that was near it was from England. She's got a bigger list of jobs than that, says Ian. Ian's ears are going to get bigger with all the nagging. Yeah. Testing. Mum fell ill this morning, taken to hospital, can't visit, she's 87. I sending some love for you, Ian. NHS ambulances, yes, it all depends on the garages and what they do. You know, and even then, like, you can have situations where Ian's sent home, so that's it. He's one of the body shops that's got closed, so all him and all his mates are all gone home. And then in 3 weeks' time, he gets a phone call and they say, right, you're all coming back in because we're now looking after the police vehicles in the area, or we're helping the police because there's, you know, there's more of the vehicles or whatever. A virus caused by eating rats. Yeah, I mean, see, they, you know, when you look at the conditions of the food and the fact that they're allowed to have these markets where they keep the food alive, but they're all tied up round the neck with each other, and you go on, you go, I'll have that chicken there and I'll have that one there, and then they take the chicken over to a table, chop his head off and kill it and whatever, you know. To keep the food as fresh as you possibly can. You know, and then you've got all these, another thing that's doing the rounds at the minute, and you've got to really watch for this, right, is water injections. You really got to watch for this. You will get unscrupulous food sellers that will take older food and then you inject it with water. So if you take a knackered bit of chicken breast because it's a few days old, what you do is you get an injection needle, you fill the syringe of water, you inject just underneath the thing, you inject water into it. And so you put the needle in, you go inject there, squeeze a bit of water in, 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 and then you look at that chicken breast and it's now twice the size because it's had a bit of water. And if you've ever put a chicken breast into the frying pan that's one size and it has gone down to like less than half the size, you know that that's been interfered with. You know, but they do a lot of that because when meat's going off and everything, it freshens it up. It livens it up. You know, a bit of a old tricks there. It's like a trick in vegetables. You know, when you've got a cabbage and the cabbage starts going off after a few days, you know, you ain't sold them all. So what you rip off, or lettuces, you rip off the outside leaves and you cut that bit off where it's going yellow, and you rip off the outside leaves and all that, throw them away. That's all right for rabbit food. And now you're selling a smaller cabbage or a smaller lettuce. And as time goes on, they get smaller and smaller and smaller as you rip off the waste and throw it away so that you can still sell it. But it won't last long. It lasts a couple of days and then it'll go off in someone's fridge. You know, there are all sorts of things like that. And all of those things are now going to be coming into play. Why wouldn't they be? They're going to come into play because of supply and demand. The supply outstrips, the demand outstrips the supply. And therefore you make the supply go as far as it can. So even stuff that is starting to go off, end of date stuff. I mean, that's already started with the government pulling them tricks. Sending in the outdated, buying and sending in outdated hospital masks and things like that that are well past their sell-by date. Because we're back to the war situation now. When you're at war, you take all of the expendable people and you put them at the front. That's what you have to do. You take all the people that are expendable and you chuck them at the front. It don't matter if they die. They die, it's okay, because the country carries on going. The wheels carry on working. So you take all your, so you send all your men first of all, and then you start drafting all the kids, and then, you know, you end up with 15 and 16 and 17-year-old kids, all on the front line, all in the front trenches. They're expendable, right? Then, yeah, they're more expendable than a 20-year veteran who knows how to use all the machinery and the guns and the bullets and everything else. These kids who only know how to pull a trigger, they're expendable. Chuck them at the front. Let them take the force of it. Now, the NHS, the care community, is no different. So, at the moment, you have got nurses and doctors falling like flies. I was on the phone yesterday. somebody up in a Lincolnshire hospital. I know a manager up in a Lincolnshire hospital up there, and his staff, they're dropping like flies. Because you've got people on the front line. So what they do, they take all the kids. So you've got all the youngsters, all these kids that are fresh out of college and in their last year of this and last year of that, chuck them all at the front line, get them in, chuck them at the front. Because this is coming down and it's going to hit the front line hardest of all. We don't want veterans with 20 years experience on the front line getting knocked down with this disease. We don't want that happening, because they get knocked out, there's nobody to run all the other people. So get the kids in, get the youngsters in, get them on the front line, get them wiping the bums, get them dealing with that, and then the veterans are behind the ones on the front line. Right? So for example, you've got John's daughter, Nick, is one of them. She's been drafted in, she's now on the front line, she's a youngster. Got to put the kids on the front line in front of the veterans, because you need to protect the veterans as much as possible. And they are falling like flies, simply because there wasn't enough masks, there wasn't enough protection, there still isn't enough on the front line to the people that need it. So you've got people caring for the corona sick with no protection whatsoever, catching the disease immediately. Half of everything in a hospital is metal. They are touching metal stuff, they are passing it to other patients, they are passing it to each other. It is going around the hospitals like a dose of salts. And there's going to be some nasty, nasty news stories in a few days' time, in a week's time. You know, and it takes 2 weeks and all of that, so all of a sudden, wallop, there's going to be a hole in the NHS, because all of these people are coming out of the NHS because they're getting sick. And then they've got to look at that, so that's all right, don't worry about that, because we've got to sort it out, chuck all those over there, fill up the spaces, all those people that are now sick, get them home, and let's just see who dies and see who don't. And that's all you're doing at the moment. Every one of us, we're all at home. See who dies, see who doesn't. Those that die, die at home and do it peacefully and do it quietly, and don't infect anybody else, please. That's what the entire country is being asked to do right now. And that's all that will happen to those health workers. Go home, infect the rest of your families, and then stay at home with those families. And those of you that survive, great, we'll have you back at work in a couple of weeks' time. And that's it. Right, so there you are, another mind-blowing, happy show from Uncle Ian. And I will see you again tomorrow. Like I keep telling you, I ain't going anywhere. You know, fight the mint, fight the virus, fight 288, it's all the same. And we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll have another chat. And those of you that want to come in and come back and whatever, you know, like we said earlier on, even if you've been blocked before, it don't matter. Just play by the rules. All right? Stay safe to everybody. Love to everybody. Little bit of love out my bucket to everybody. Every single person. Stay safe. And we'll come back. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And for those of you that want to join a VIP group, come and join the VIP and be one. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow.